Since we're now approaching the middle of November, that means one thing if you're an OHL fan, we're now past the quarter mark of the regular season. There's been a few surprises along the way, including the teams that are at the top of the standings, some disappointing starts to the regular season. But all in all, it's been a lot of fun following what's been happening in the 2023-24 season, no matter where you may be on the map in the Ontario Hockey League. And I figured since we're at this milestone of the regular season, let's go over the top teams in the league, their points leaders, and just give like a bit of a quick progress report for how the teams are doing so far. And leading the way are the Kitchener Rangers. This one's a big surprise because a lot of people are expecting Kitchener to maybe be a bubble team for the playoffs, maybe selling off some assets. Instead, they have 28 points right now. They're first place in the Ontario Hockey League. Their top three scorers lead the league in points. And let's just look at it. Leading the way, Carson Rakoff. He's got 33 points on the season, good for 19 goals in 19 games. Hunter Brustowicz, he has 19 games under his belt, 5 goals, 27 assists, good for 32 points. And then Matthew Saab, 30 points, 10 goals, 20 assists. So the Kitchener Rangers leading the way. I know there's some people who are wondering, do they stand pat? Should they add? Do they maybe sell off a bit, recoup some picks? Either way, Mike McKenzie, the general manager of the Kitchener Rangers, in a very good spot. And I wouldn't be surprised if Kitchener kind of stands pat a bit. They've got some good pieces here. It's been exciting to watch. Philip Machar sent back from Montreal. And then you also have Roman Schmidt sent down from the Tampa Bay Lightning. So things looking up for Kitchener, and we'll see if they can continue this. Second in the Ontario Hockey League standings, the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. They were off to a hot start. They were putting up goals left and right. They have a record of 12-7. They're 6-4 over the last 10 games. Looking at their top three scorers, Jack Beck, who's acquired before the regular season from the Ottawa 67s. He's appeared in 19 games, good for 6 goals, 15 assists, 21 points. He's kind of cooled off a bit of late, but still a great leader on that Greyhounds team. Arttu Karki, he is up there when it comes to goal scoring. 14 goals, 4 assists, though, and 19 points. So Karki, he's been a lot of fun to watch with the Greyhounds and just to see him develop along the way. And at number 3 on scoring is Justin Cloutier. He's got 10 goals, 7 assists, good for 17 points. And that Greyhounds team playing with a chip on their shoulder, they bid on the Memorial Cup, and then their West Division rivals, the Saginaw Spirit, ended up getting it. So you kind of figure that team's playing with a chip, and right now looking fantastic at the top of the West Division. And then number 3, it's the Mississauga Steelheads. This is a surprise. They're a young team. You feel like maybe they're a year ahead of schedule. Luke Misa leading the way in scoring, 6 goals, 18 assists, good for 24 points on a team that has an 11-6 record. Their last 10, though, 5-5. So it looks like Mississauga might be cooling off a bit, but Luke Misa, as I mentioned, leading the way in points. And then you have Porter Martone. He's second. He's appeared in 17 games, 12 goals, 8 assists, good for 20 points. And then Angus McDonnell. What a pickup at last year's OHL trade deadline from the Sarnia Sting. He has 9 goals, 7 assists, good for 16 points. I really like the look of this Mississauga team. Will they hold on to top spot in the Central? I'm kind of leaning towards not. I think the Sudbury Wolves, they've got a great lineup, and they may be the team to beat in the Eastern Conference, but still we're at the quarter mark, and it's Mississauga who is the top team right now in the Eastern Conference and third overall in the OHL. Fourth in the OHL to the Peterborough Petes, the defending OHL champions. They're surprising a lot of people. They were expecting this team to maybe sell off a bit, but they're finding ways to win. They only have 46 goals for on the season, which is the lowest in the OHL, yet they lead the East Division in points. They have a record of 9-3-3-1. They're 5-2, 2-1 in their last 10 games. So, as I mentioned, finding ways to get wins and points. Jonathan Malee leading the way in points. He's 6 goals, 8 assists, good for 14 points in 14 games. Jax Dubois, 4 goals, 10 assists, 14 points. And Owen Beck, who a lot of people are connecting him in trade rumors. We'll wait and see if that actually transpires, but he's third in points on the Peterborough Petes with 7 goals, 6 assists, good for 13 points. So the Peterborough Petes, they're going to be a team to watch between now and the trade deadline in January. Do they sell off? Do they just keep the pace, see what happens around them in the Eastern Conference? I don't know. I'll just have to wait and see, but looking pretty good early on. Fifth in the OHL, the quarter mark is the London Knights. Maybe a bit of a disappointing start if you're a Knights fan. They have a record of 12-5-0-1 at this point. They're 7-3 over their last 10 games, though, so they're starting to pick up the pace. Denver Barkey leading the way with 18 games. He's got 11 goals, 15 assists, good for 26 points. And then Easton Cowan, the Toronto Maple Leafs prospect. He's only appeared in 13 games so far this season, but he's already second in scoring on the London team. 8 goals, 16 assists, 24 points. And then Kasper Halttunen. He's been fantastic for this Knights team. 14 goals on the season. He's in the top 5 in goal scoring in the OHL. 5 assists, though, but still 19 points in 18 games. So this is a London Knights team that's loaded up top. Some question marks maybe with trying to keep the puck out of the back of their net. I'm thinking back to that game against Windsor last week when they beat them 10-7. That game is going back and forth. The defense having some question marks there. Sixth at the quarter mark, the Ottawa 67s. 10-5-1 is their record. 6-3-1 in their last 10. Luca Pinelli, he's been lighting it up of late. He's got 2 hat tricks in his last 4 games. 15 goals to his credit, 7 assists, 22 points. And then you got Cooper Foster, rather. He has 4 goals, 11 assists, 15 points. And Brad Gardner getting things done as well. 4 goals, 10 assists, 14 points. Those are your top 3 scorers with the Ottawa 67s. Chasing the Peterborough Petes still. Will Ottawa be the team to take the East Division? I think it's a good possibility, but I wouldn't be counting out the Oshawa Generals yet. I know they're in the rearview mirror of Ottawa and Peterborough, but they might not be as far as some may think. 7th right now in the OHL, the Sudbury Wolves, the heavy favorite in the Eastern Conference. They have a record of 10-6-1, 6-3-1 over the last 10 games. David Goyette is a phenomenal playmaker. He leads Sudbury in scoring. 5 goals, 18 assists, good for 23 points. And then Kochadelic, I think he's a little underrated when you're a fan of a team outside of Sudbury. 6 goals, 11 assists, 17 points. That puts him second in scoring with Sudbury. And then Andre Anania, another underrated player I feel out of Sudbury. He only has 1 goal, but 14 assists, good for 15 points. And that doesn't even touch Delibor Dvorsky or Quentin Musty, Evan Conyon. They are loaded up front. So expect those players to maybe crack the top 3 in scoring when it comes to the Sudbury Wolves. But things looking up right now if you're from the Nickel City. Number 8 right now at the quarter mark, it's the Guelph Storm. They have a record of 10-7, 5-5 over the last 10 games. They've been kind of steady, kind of middle of the pack. Jet Luchenko, he leads Guelph in scoring. 5 goals, 12 assists, 17 points. Michael Bushinger, he's got 4 goals, 13 assists, good for 17 points. And then Braden Bowman, 6 goals, 10 assists, and 16 points. The Guelph Storm, though, their game is defense. They have Braden Gillespie in net, who's been fantastic. And the Guelph Storm have given up the fewest goals against. So I think that's what's been keeping them in the win column and getting the points. But offensively, if they can get Matthew Poitras from the Boston Bruins, you know that's going to be huge. Plus, Cam Allen should be joining that lineup from injury soon, and that'll just add to that back end. The Guelph Storm looking really good from the back end out. They just need to get a few more goals so they can string some wins together. Number 9 at the quarter mark, the North Bay Battalion. A bit of a surprise as well. They're 8-6-3-1, 4-4-2 over their last 10 games. And for North Bay, the question marks were about the offense. Who's going to put the goals into the net? Because they've got great goaltending with Dom DiVincentis. I know he's out due to injury right now, but still Charlie Robertson and Mike McIver getting it done in relief. Plus, they've got Ty Nelson, who might be one of the best defensemen in the Ontario Hockey League. So scoring up front, it's Anthony Romani leading the way. He has 11 goals, 14 assists, good for 25 points so far this season. And then Dalen Wakely right there as well. 7 goals, 17 assists, 24 points. And one player I really enjoy watching on this North Bay Battalion, Owen Van Steensel. He is 3rd in scoring from the North Bay Battalion. 9 goals, 12 assists, good for 21 points. So the North Bay Battalion, I think they're surprising quite a few people in the Central Division. They are in the thick of it, battling for top spot with Mississauga and Sudbury, and getting it done offensively from Romani, Wakely, and Steensel. And wrapping this up, it's the Saginaw Spirit. They're number 10 right now overall at the quarter mark of this season. They're, of course, the Memorial Cup hosts. Everyone's been talking about it, questioning their start to the season. It was really slow. They were outside of the playoff picture a week ago. but now they're finding ways to win. They're on a 5-game winning streak. Their record stands at 9-7-0-1. They're 6-3-0-1 in their last 10 games. Zane Parekh, he's the leading goal scorer or point getter for the Saginaw Spirit. 6 goals, 16 assists, good for 22 points. Parekh, of course, an NHL draft prospect for this June's entry draft. Number 2 in scoring on Saginaw right now, Hunter Hates. He has 6 goals, 14 assists, good for 20 points. And at number 3, Michael Misa, 9 goals, 10 assists, good for 19 points. He's a player that I think many were expecting to lead the way in points this season. He did have that injury a couple weeks ago, which knocked him out of the lineup in the game against Oshawa, and then he missed the first meeting against Mississauga. But Michael Misa, a great talent, and scored a fantastic goal the other night against the Windsor Spitfires with just 10 seconds left in the game. So Saginaw, expect them to climb as the season progresses. So those are the top 10 teams. They're in the top half of the OHL standings. And some players I wanted to point out who've had good seasons as well. Liam Greentree with Windsor. I know the Spitfires are last in the league. He's got 24 points on the season, 11 goals, 13 assists. Kerry Torrance with the Erie Otters. He has been fun in this first quarter of the season. 13 goals, 10 assists, 23 points. Denny Gore from Owen Sound. He is probably the player that just keeps on ticking for the attack. They've been inconsistent at times, but Denny Gore, you can count on him. 10 goals, 11 assists, 21 points in the first quarter. Braden Kressler, the Toronto Maple Leafs prospect, 9 goals, 11 assists, good for 20 points. I think Kressler's return to the Flint Firebirds lineup really sparked a turnaround for Flint. Even when they traded Ethan Hay to Saginaw, the Firebirds were still finding ways to win and climbing that Western Conference standings. So Kressler, he deserves a shout out. And leading the Barrie Colts in scoring, Bo Jelsma. He is an awesome leader on the ice for this team, also off the ice. Right now, 6 goals, 13 assists, good for 19 points. So that's where we stand, a quarter of the way through the 2023-24 OHL season. A few surprises, and I'm sure we're going to have a lot more surprises between now and the OHL trade deadline. But let me know what you think of the season so far in the comments section below. Talk about your team and are they meeting expectations, exceeding expectations, or maybe talk about some of your favorite players who are maybe having a great start to the regular season. Let me know in the comments section below. Remember to hit like and subscribe as we continue with the season. And now we're marking the quarter mark of the regular season. Have yourself a great day.